having a right is one thing, but knowing your rights and how to exercise it is another thing entirely. Some people would have a very good case, but you will see them resort to self-help, and then at the end of the day, they mess everything up and become the victim. Please don't let that be your case. Self-help is not the option at any time. Don't ever resort to self-help. What am I trying to say? I'm talking about house owners, landlords. You have a house occupied by a tenant and you don't know what to do in a particular circumstance. Some tenants are very wise. Some of them are very wise. They want to be wise. They are wiser than their landlords. They know the law more than you. So sometimes they intentionally do things waiting to see your reaction. Yes, they know it. They even have lawyers that advise them. They read. And you, the landlord, you don't know. So you see a tenant who intentionally waits until you exercise that right. And what if you don't know? Now, I want to tell a story. First of all, before I tell the other story, it's fun. Someone sent me a message a few days ago. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, there was a video I dropped concerning landlord issues. So the person says, that he has been living in that house for some time. Although the first time he didn't mention that he's owing the landlord. He said that his landlord went and bought a very big key and locked the entrance of his house, not allowing him to have access to his apartment and all of that. And he later said, although I'm owing him. So you see the audacity that people have. You're owing your landlord and you still want to stay and see what he's going to do. And then now your landlord has resorted to self-help and he knows already that what the landlord is doing is wrong. He mentioned other things that the landlord is doing, and I was like, oh, poor landlord, he doesn't even know what he is doing. Now, what am I saying? Please, landlords, no matter how much your tenant is owing you, it is your right to recover that money. That is your money. But you have to go about it the right way. Self-help is not the option at all. Because at the end of the day, you may now go and do something that you regret. Something that you may even spend more than the money you are chasing, the money you are trying to recover from your tenant. Never resort to self-help. Always follow the right process. The right process of eviction. Follow it. There is a process you have to go through. The law says you must save that your tenant's notices. Save him or her a 6 months notice. Save him or her a 7-day notice of owner's intention to recover possession. Once you have saved those 2 notices, although the first one depends on the circumstance, the 6 months notice depends on the circumstance, okay? You only save someone a 6 months notice if your tenant's rent is still running, okay? If the rent is still running. But if the rent has expired, ensure that you save that tenant a 7-day notice of owner's intention to recover possession. Once you have saved that, please proceed to court to institute eviction proceedings. Don't resort to self-help. Don't go and start doing malicious things. You go and destroy something that you will spend more than the money that you're trying to recover. Now, the brief story I wanted to share. A tenant was owing his landlord for how many years? And the landlord wanted this tenant out of the house. Do you know what he did? He was always sending his children, to go and disturb the man, do certain things that will chase the man out of the house. Sometimes he will say, go and, early in the morning, go and knock on his window, throw things so that he will wake up. They will be disturbing the man at night. They will do weird things like that to the tenant. They will go and disconnect light. They will go and disconnect water. They will do this, do that. One day, these children now went and broke the tenant's windscreen. And then went into the car and spoiled things inside the car. The father, I think that one, the father was not around. The tenant sued him because he has a right. That's not your rent. That's not the proper way to go about it. So before he could even get his rent, he had spent more than that rent. So you see, self-help is not always advisable. If your tenant is owing you, please go through it the right process. Don't use self-help. Don't go and start fighting. Don't go and start fighting your tenant. You will not